How are you? I want you to see something because I forgot to share it.
I fall apart. There's more
One of her
room in
greatest
a
songs.
broken heart.
Heartbreak.
Pay the grocer.
Great song. How are you, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Let me say hi to you. Um, so we are 2 days out. Actually, we are 1 day, 5 hours, and 27 minutes until midnight. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Joe. Hey, Ira. So the great Carly Simon. I have to tell you something. I was never into female artists when I was young, and I don't think a lot of guys are. I'm talking about my teen years. Um, I remember when I was 9 or 10, Tapestry, Carole King's great album, and I do remember It's Too Late because it was on the radio every 3 minutes, and my mother changing channels in the car when she'd be driving us places, and it would just be on. And so I was well aware of her. And I had heard of Janis Joplin, but I didn't listen to those artists, which you don't when you're 9 or 10. I was a Beatle fan, but Carly Simon, who is about 82, I believe now, she's an American singer, songwriter, and author. Now, she became big in the 70s with a string of hits. I think 13 top 40s. Anticipation was number 13. The Right Thing to Do. Haven't Got Time for the Pain, great song. You Belong to Me, Coming Around Again, which I think that is a brilliant song. You're So Vain was number one. Mick Jagger singing in the background of that one, supposedly written about Warren Beatty. Mockingbird, a duet with James Taylor, who was her husband at the time. Nobody Does It Better, a James Bond theme. 1977, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Jesse, number 11. So she's authored memoirs, 5 or 6 children's books. So she began with her sister in the early 60s, Lucy Simon in the Simon Sisters. Meet the Simon Sisters was their debut album. Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod was their first song, and it was based on a poem by Eugene Field, and it was put to music by Lucy. And it became a minor hit. It was in the top 100, and they released 2 more albums, Cuddlebug in the mid 60s and the Simon Sisters Sing for Children right around the Beatles breakup. And uh, Lucy left the group, and Carly became a solo artist in 71 with her self-titled debut album, and she won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. And she had her first top 10 single there, The Way I Always Heard It Should Be, which is a great song. And it earned her a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Now, her second album, Anticipation, later that year, was even more successful. And you had Anticipation, Legend in Your Own Time. She earned another Grammy nomination, became the first album to be certified gold by RIAA. So it was terrific. Her third album, No Secrets, that was where she started to be recognized by everybody. It was number one on Billboard's 200 for 5 weeks, certified platinum. You're So Vain was the hit off that album, was number one for 3 weeks. Simon got 3 Grammy nominations, Record of the Year, Song of the Year. The second single, The Right Thing to Do. The B-side, We Have No Secrets, very successful. Then she had Hotcakes in 1974, that album. Instant success, number 3 on Billboard. So she was rocking and rolling for 3 or 4 years. Haven't Got Time for the Pain and Mockingbird was in 1975 with her ex-husband, James Taylor, who was discovered by the Beatles and signed to Apple Music. So she was tremendous. She was. And I remember a special in the 90s, and Harry Connick Jr. was her piano player when she was live. So she was commissioned to do Nobody Does It Better in 77 for the Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me, worldwide hit. Another Grammy. nomination for Adult Contemporary Hit of 77. So, and that was retrospectively looked at as one of the greatest Bond themes of all time. So, in the 80s, she's writing for films, coming around again for Heartburn, major hit. And it appeared in different movies, not as the theme song. Give Me All Night, The Stuff That Dreams Are Made of, All I Want Is You, great song. In 88, Let the River Run from Working Girl. So she has always been in the media's eye and a darling of the media. Adult contemporary charting singles, she's had 28 Billboard Top 100s. And she's won 2 Grammys, 14 nominations, Grammy Hall of Fame for You're So Vain in 2004. She was put in there. One of the great singer-songwriters of the 70s. Just amazing. Now, she was born in New York City. Her father, Richard Simon, was co-founder of Simon & Schuster and a classical pianist who often played Chopin and Beethoven at home. So you could see where she was as a young girl witnessing all that. Her mother, Andrea, was a civil rights activist and singer. Her father was German Jewish, and her mother was Catholic. Her maternal grandfather was of German descent, and her mother, the mother's mother, was of Cuban descent, I believe, and Pardo heritage. So she was born and raised in Riverdale, a nice area of the Bronx, and had the 2 elder sisters, Lucy, who we had spoken about, and Joanna, and a younger brother, Peter. And they all died of cancer. Yeah. And they were raised Roman Catholics. And she had stated in one of her books that when she was 7, a family friend in his teens sexually assaulted her. And it was a heinous act. It changed her view about sex for a very long time. It scarred her terribly. Now, she began stuttering at 8 years of age. And you wonder, 7 years of age being sexually abused, and now at 8 you begin stuttering. Seems to me that that timeline is pretty prevalent in what was going on. The psychiatrist tried to cure her. Instead, she turned to singing and songwriting. She could sing without stammering, which many singers can, by the way. All stammerers can sing without stuttering. And she was dyslexic. And she feels that that helped her with songwriting. Riverdale Country School she was in. She was in Sarah Lawrence, which is a very uppity college, for 4 semesters. And she was enrolled at Juilliard, which is top of the line for music. So when she began her musical career with her sister Lucy, she was signed to Cap Records, and they were on Hootenanny in 1963, a television show that dealt with music. Now, interestingly enough, they were friends with the eclectic New York rockers Elephant's Memory, which John Lennon performed with. And Elephant's Memory, Midnight Cowboy, they wrote a couple of songs for that movie, which was in the movie, those songs. But Elephant's Memory is who John Lennon performed with on stage with Chuck Berry. And they were a big New York avant-garde kind of band in the Village, and they were pretty big. And in fact, they were on board when he did the concert in 1972 at Madison Square Garden. Now, there's a biography, Taxi, the Harry Chapin story by Peter Cohen, and it suggested that Chaplin, performing with his brothers, considered merging with Simon Sisters and performing under the moniker the Brothers and Sisters. But Simon's career gained traction and it was never talked about again. Now, Elephant's Memory, like I said, she actually sang with, and she hated the gigs. They played clubs where everyone was smoking dope and all that stuff, and she lost her voice and she quit it. So when she went mainstream, 1970, 71, she was signed to Elektra Records by Jack Holtzman, the head guy there. And when she released her debut album right after New Year's, February 71, it was very well regarded at number 30, top 200. And that's the way I always heard it should be, was all over the radio. And she started with the awards and with the adult. You have to remember, in the 70s, a lot of the women's lib stuff was going on. In fact, in the mid 70s, I remember a movie, The Stepford Wives, which was really getting beat up at that time, about women's lib, and they were stifling at men by making women robots. And she was right in that women's lib era where the women were starting to gain notoriety as great singers, singer-songwriters. Joplin, you consider her with a band, even though she was a singer-songwriter. But, Carole King and Carly Simon, Joan Baez, women like that. So the subject of You're So Vain became a big focal point and made her very interesting as well. And it was one of the biggest mysteries in popular music. You're So Vain, I bet you think the song's about you. For more than 40 years, she never revealed who it was. Many people thought it was Mick Jagger because he sang backup vocals on that, and Warren Beatty. And she identified Warren Beatty pretty much. And she kind of promoted that idea, although she never came out and really said it. But she had confirmed since then that Warren thinks the whole thing's about him, and he's only one subject in one verse. And the other two people in that song are two other people, men, different accounts. So she's reinvented herself many times. The late 70s, she left Elektra and she did her jazzy You Belong to Me for the album Boys in the Trees, which had two top 40 hits, written by Michael McDonald, You Belong to Me, and Devoted to You, a duet with James Taylor. And it hit number 2 on the adult contemporary chart. James Taylor was very well thought of as well, and interesting story if you read the story about both of them. So you look at her, and she's had such a long-standing musical career. She's won accolades, 2 Grammys, like I said, 14 nominations, an Academy Award, Golden Globe, British Academy Film Award, Best Original Film Score in 1991, respectively, Boston Music Award, Hall of Fame Lifetime Achievement Award at 95. So she has been amazing. Songwriters Hall of Fame inducted in 94. Berklee College of Music honorary degree of music, a doctorate. She's ranked as number 28 VH1's 100 Greatest Women in Rock and Roll History, nominated for a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But she never set the ceremony to claim her star. Now, her music is very popular in the culture of 70s, 80s, 90s. She seems to have adjusted herself. Her songs have been widely covered by other musicians. Her influence on other artists is something you can't measure, but it's there. Marilyn Manson did an unusual version with Johnny Depp on guitar. of You're So Vain. And I believe Taylor Swift did You're So Vain at a concert and called the track the best song that she ever heard. Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, performed her song. So Celine Dion, Radiohead. But the influence, Brittany Murphy considered Simon her idol. The late Brittany Murphy. Tori Amos, the children's books, like I said. And then you look at the top songs, really, You're So Vain, Mockingbird, Nobody Does It Better, Jesse, Anticipation, No Secrets, The Best of Carly Simon, Boys in the Trees. Those albums were big. But I personally like this song from Heartburn, that movie. I think it's tremendous. So she really has shown such talent. Oh, did she, Mitch? Buffalo Billy? Where is he? I don't see him. Hey, Buffalo, how are you? What was awful? Coming around again? How are you, Buffalo? Hey, Gerald, how are you? Sorry, I'm getting to you guys late here. Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks was good, yeah. Kaio Shot. What video did you like? The one that I played before? Coming Around Again, to me, is a great song. You don't like the song Buffalo? Was that the one you're talking about? Yeah, I think she's good artist. Good artist. You know, women artists are different. They have a different fan base. They feel they have to see. I think male singers feel they have women and men listening to them. Men generally aren't in the car listening to Celine Dion. I don't know if it's a pride thing, a macho thing. I don't know what it is, but I just don't think that they are. So women really have to work a little harder, like they've said throughout life, but they do to get recognized. You know, you look at some of the great artists in the last 40 years, Stevie Nicks, right? Melissa Etheridge is respected. She's very good, Melissa Etheridge, good songwriter. I always liked who was the Irish singer? Trying to remember who. I don't remember who it is. Oh, Sinead, is it? And then there's another one I like. Alanis Morissette. I think she's real good. Alanis Morissette wrote a little like Lady Gaga, or actually vice versa. And I'm wondering if Lady Gaga had ever took her style and kind of ran with it, because the dark lyrics of Alanis Morissette, Lady Gaga, with a little fresher, poppier beat, you could see the difference, but yet the subtle similarities of their style of writing. But yeah, I think she's terrific, Carly Simon. Supposedly a very good person, does a lot for the underprivileged and all that, fundraising. And James Taylor. I think James Taylor, first of all, he's a fine acoustic guitar player. Really? Emmanuel, yeah. You have to soak that bacala, get that, then change the water, whatever every day. Yeah, Sinead O'Connor was good. Yeah, that bacala. I never liked bacala. I was never into it. I really only ate in the beginning like 4 of the 7 fishes. Your lady? Oh, really, Emmanuel? I didn't realize that. Yeah, Lady Gaga was good. She's good, but you know who I liked? Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about Gaga. I was wrong. Amy Winehouse, I believe, probably followed a bit Alanis Morissette with the dark lyrics because she's a talented writer. Yeah, Sinead O'Connor was good. Destroyed her career on Saturday Night Live, but it happens. But Morissette, I like Alanis Morissette a lot, but I liked Winehouse. Winehouse was a tremendous writer. It was a different time when Carly Simon was writing. But you look at Carly Simon and Carole King, right? And there were just so many great female artists because they have to resonate in a different way. They have to try to get men and women where men feel it's built in already. If you look at, the greats of our time, Whitney Houston, right? More modern day. Great voice control she had. Um, Celine Dion is great. Streisand, absolutely wonderful. But Streisand, I think, got a great reputation through the acting as well. Mariah Carey, terrific. Those are the ones we think of. But if you want to look at maybe a little under the radar, Aretha Franklin, right? Because you look at parameters. If you look at the best female singer of all time, it should be broken down by genre, right? Jazz, soul, R&B, country, whatever. And there's a difference between a singer, entertainer, performer. Christina Aguilera, good vocalist, perfect pitch, range, projection, right? Britney Spears, terrific performer. Both are successful pop artists, right? But Britney Spears couldn't be considered on that list as a really talented, other than performer. She's an okay singer, but she's an entertainer. But Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, true singer, no auto tune on her. If you need a computer to make you sound better, get backup singers and go get a job. Aguilera, very talented singer because she puts her all into the music. Adele, right? I was never really into Adele, but Chasing Pavements, a pretty good song. She has an original and a very unique voice, and that helps her. Beyonce is okay. Her her sense of melody. She doesn't seem to lose her breath ever. I saw her live. Katy Perry. I love Katy Perry. Good singer-songwriter. Guest coach of American Idol. She was a real cheerleader on that show, showing people that she was really wanting them to succeed. And I thought that was pretty cool. Madonna, she hasn't got the vocal range like any of the top artists, but she can sing and pretty good at times, depending on which song, because a ballad live can be from the heart, full of emotion. And her imperfections are what make her perfect. She's an entertainer that puts on an amazing show. And when you dance your ass off, who cares if your singing isn't flawless, right? She's the queen of women singers from the 80s. And she left everyone so far behind her that even that they've caught up, you still think of her as the top. And you have Amy Lee, who was good and a beautiful girl too. Taylor Swift, look, she's got a beautiful voice. She's talented. She's supposedly very nice, but she sings songs like an 18-year-old. She's singing to 17-year-olds, and she kind of loses me with that. Lady Gaga, like I said, truly talented. Most artists women artists can't sing and play the instrument flawlessly. She can. She's actually not a bad guitarist. Rihanna is good. Ariana Grande, if you're going for just a pretty voice who is, a star. You know, the movie Wicked, she did a song. Pink is another one. Demi Lovato. These are all newer singers. But for me, I go back to the older singers. You know, Annie Lennox, terrific singer. Yeah, absolutely. Chrissy Hind was decent. Oh, Rehab was great. Really, was she? I don't remember that. I have to take a look at that now. Yeah, I'm not a Bacala guy, Emmanuel. But yeah, Carly Simon, though, for me, one of the all-time greats. Like her a little more than Carole King. Carole King's very talented. You know, Carole King wrote at the Brill Building with Neil Sedaka and all those people. But uh, Carly Simon, a little more poppy for me. And even when you hear a slower down version of a love song, there's always a little bit of a pop moment in there where Carole King resonates a little quieter with you. So I like Carly Simon. Both are great, but I like Carly Simon. I do. I found something out. Stevie Nicks is very good too. A good writer, underrated. I found something out that I didn't realize. I'm forgetting. I want to make a point, but I forgot because I'm getting old. Yeah, Sinead O'Connor. I like Sinead. I like Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette did a really good. If you ever saw the movie The Lovely, great about Cole Porter and Robbie Williams, who I think is great. But she did something in The Lovely.
Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Electric eels, I might add to it. Though it shocks him, I know. Why ask if shad do it? Way to bring me shad row. In shallow shoals, English souls do it. Goldfish in the privacy of bowls do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. The dragon flies in the reeds do it. Sentimental centipedes do it. Let's do it.
That's a great movie, by the way, The Lovely. Yeah, you know what? Blondie. Yeah, she's good. She's not in there. You know, she's a performer, Blondie. But Ann Wilson, hot. Oh yeah, tremendous. A lot of women that really made their way. And if you go way back, you got Joplin, obviously, and you have Janice Ian was good in the early '70s. Joan Baez, '60s hippie-ish kind of. But look, Carly Simon to me, nobody does it better. Everyone, I'll do the music shorts tonight. Probably won't be on tomorrow because it is Christmas Eve and I'm busy. I do have a life. And Christmas Day, I'll be busy. I'll try to sneak on and wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. But in case you don't catch it, be healthy, be safe. Thank you for always being here for me. And I wish you from the bottom of my heart a very, very Merry Christmas. And I'll see you soon.